बंदा मेरा रे धंधा तो पुराना, बंदा मेरा रे धंधा तो पुराना, मोजड़ी बनाना हटवाड़ा जाना रे, बंदा मेरा रे धंधा तो पुराना।
1.5 million people earn a living off leatherwork in India. Placed at the bottom of the proverbial pyramid, these leather artisans have been saddled with the outdated technology and designs. A lack of standardization and poor business skills kept them in a low-quality, low-price cycle. To improve their lot, the Government of India took on the challenge of improving the livelihood potential of the leather sector by starting the National Leather Development Program in the early 90s. The United Nations Development Program was a partner of the government in this effort. The national program focused on enhancing the skills of the artisans and on technological upgradation. Under this program, 2 projects focused on the artisans making the ethnic footwear, Mojari and Kolhapuri. The projects came to a close in 2003. It is time to go back for a reality check.
देश में चलो जी डोला मन बैठ के, काकड़ी मतीरा खास्या खूब डट के। देश में चलो जी डोला मन बैठ के, काकड़ी मतीरा खास्या खूब डट के।
Mojari has been the traditional footwear of Rajasthan. About 30,000 artisan families in Rajasthan are dependent on Mojari making for a living. Bound by tradition, lacking the wherewithal to adapt to changing markets, these artisans could only sit and watch life pass by. To help these artisans, Operation Mojari was launched under the National Leather Development Program. It was implemented by Rural Non-Farm Development Agency, or RUDA. The mandate of the project was to upgrade the traditional Mojari and integrate the artisans with the mainstream markets. The project sought to tackle the problems of standardization and bad design by providing machines, polymer lasts, and patterns to go with these lasts. To build upon the strong legacy of traditional skill, designers from the National Institute of Fashion Technology, National Institute of Design, and some freelance professionals were roped in to provide inputs on contemporary design. Workshops and training sessions were organized. The artisans were taught to use patterns conforming to the 3-dimensional shapes of the lasts. They were given scientific designs to rectify the typical blister-giving features at the heel.
मेरा नाम धन्नाराम रेगर, गांव उदयपुरिया है, और हम पहली देसी जोड़ी बनाते थे और बाद में रूड़ा वाले हमारे को पात्रंग भी दिए, ऐसे फर्मे भी दिए और मशीनें भी दी, रापे आरी पात काटने का तो सब दिए हैं, और उसमें अच्छी पैदा हुई और पैदा करके हमारे बाल बच्चों को पढ़ाए, मांग वाले पैसे दिए। पहले हमारे जोड़ी बिकती थी 70-75, बाद में वो भी 60-65 की आ गई, और रूड़ा वाले ने जब सिखाया तो ये 135-40-65 तक की बिक गई थी।
मशीन है सोल दबाने की, जिसमें हमने यहाँ से हमारे पिताजी ये मोगरी आती थी, इसमें से जो इससे पिटाई करते थे और इसका सोल को टाइट कर देते थे, तो वो भी हमको ऑपरेशन मोजरी से मिला। और इसके बाद में एक फिनिशिंग करने की, ऊपर अपर की फिनिशिंग कि जैसे अपर गंदा हो जाता उसमें फिनिशिंग लगाओ और मशीन पे चलाओ, फिनिश बिल्कुल एक्सपोर्ट लाइन का। उससे भी फिनिशिंग करने से हमको मतलब जोड़ी पे जो मार्केट में देते हैं ना, उससे जैसे 200 रुपये की बेचते हैं तो वो 250 रुपये की बिक सकती है फिनिशिंग करने के बाद में, ऐसी फिनिशिंग आ जाती है उसकी।
The success of the Operation Mojari soon manifested itself in concrete. Kacha houses and hovels metamorphosed into pakka dwellings. Artisans started sending their children to better schools, and the awareness levels about health and sanitation increased.
जैसे दूसरे के पास जाते थे कि साहब तुम्हारा फ़ोन आ रहा है जी, भागो जी वहाँ से जाओ जी। अब तो हमारे पास हम खुद फ़ोन भी लगा रखा है, दो फ़ोन है, मोबाइल भी है। सभी के पास गांव के अंदर ऐसे ऐसे आदमी हैं कि पूरे गांव के अंदर बहुत ही ज़्यादा मोबाइल ख़रीद लिया। जैसे टावर और इस गांव में कोई ऐसा ही नहीं सोच सकते थे कि यहाँ भी कोई टावर लग जाएगा या मोबाइल ले आएंगे। आजकल दिल्ली में भी इतने मोबाइल नहीं है, जैसे हमारे उदयपुरिया में इतने मोबाइल ला रखा है। 15-15 हज़ार रुपये का मोबाइल है।
The project gave the artisans exposure to collective marketing in the urban markets. It also helped establish linkages between the artisan groups and the organized sector markets.
The biggest break that came our way was in the year 1999, when the first time the ethnic footwear, Mojari and the Kolhapuri chappals out of the project were taken to Düsseldorf International Fair, the GDS fair, which is the biggest shoe fair in the world. We were actually meant to showcase our product, not actually sell the product. But when the orders started pouring in, we started jotting down the orders, and when we came back to India, we started again. It was a kind of dilemma, because we were never mandated to sell shoes, and that was when a separate marketing project was launched with the idea of establishing the Mojari and the Kolhapuri as a brand. And subsequently, at the end of the project of UNDP, this marketing effort was graduated onto a society called SMART, which kept on establishing the forward linkages.
SMART was designed as a marketing entity. Its mandate was to get orders from national and international buyers and procure footwear from the artisans trained under Operation Mojari. In the process, the buyers would get good quality standardized footwear, and the artisans would get a fair price. This arrangement worked fine for both the parties. There was a good international response to the Mojaris supplied by SMART.
जयपुर की साड़ी से मारी चूड़ी अजमेर की, आगरा को गागरो या चोली बीकानेर की.
Mojari making is a family enterprise in Rajasthan, and women are equal partners in work. Once the income levels of the artisan families improved, the quality of life of these women improved as well.
और तो ऑपरेशन मोजरी की ये बात है कि चूल्हा जलाना बंद कर दिया, गैस चलाते हैं, स्टोव भी बंद कर दिया, और गैस पे रोटी सब्जी खाना वगैरह सब गैस पे बनता है. और पक्का मकान हो गया. आजकल पहले लोग आ रहे हैं कच्चे झोंपड़ियाँ सब नष्ट हो गई है. लोग मार्बल लगा लिया, छत की आरसीसी बनवा लिया, कोई लोग पट्टियाँ. आजकल औरतों ने बहुत सुविधा होगी, घर घर में नल, घर में होद, कोई लोग औरतें हेड पंप पर पानी लेवा नहीं जावे. सुविधा तो घनी हो गई औरतों के लिए. तो यही है कि औरतें बहुत आजादी में हो गई.
The revival of the Mojari in Rajasthan finds a parallel in the story of the Kolhapuri chappal makers of Athani. Balabai and her friends have reason to celebrate. Living on the edge of society, these leather footwear artisans have found themselves a place on the international leather map. They are the Kolhapuri chappal makers of Athani. Situated in the Belgaum district of Karnataka, Athani is home to the Kolhapuri. From here, the Kolhapuri travels far and wide, to national and now to international markets. Maruthi's day often starts with procuring leather from the heart. His purchase depends upon the kind of order he has to execute. Balabai and Maruthi's family is one working unit. Right from softening of leather to finally embellishing the footwear, each member of the family is involved. They work from their home at their own pace. This story repeats itself in many households at Athani, associated with Toehold Artisans Collaborative, a company owned by 11 self-help groups of women. The launch of the National Leather Development Program gave them hope. Aimed at improving the skill set of artisans in the ethnic footwear sector, the Leather Project started with changing the technique of footwear production and ended with changing the lives of these artisans forever. The major thrust of the project was on standardization and making entrepreneurs out of these artisans. To give shape to the idea, NLDP found a good partner in the Asian Center for Entrepreneurial Initiatives. Ascent implemented the project and helped it to grow roots. Central Leather Research Institute at Chennai gave design inputs and trained the artisans. They were given information on what leather to use. Problems like the pasting of the sole were also addressed by the footwear technologists. Under the project, the artisans were given a set of improved tools and polymer lasts to standardize the foot size. A common facility center was set up to give the artisans access to processing and finishing machines. With the new set of tools, designs and skills, the Kolhapuri acquired a new life. However, there were problems in sourcing the right kind of leather. To get around the speed breaker, a raw material bank was set up. Good quality leather is sourced in bulk and stocked in this bank. Now the artisans do not have to keep an inventory of unused leather or run for leather every time they get an order. The vortex of the Kolhapuri matrix is the individual artisan. Once their skills were honed to craft better footwear, it was important to initiate them into the art of collective marketing. They were trained in calculating the costs, working out a price, and in marketing the product. The Mool mantra of the project was to empower the artisans so that they can run their own enterprise. Working towards this end, the artisans were organized into 11 self-help groups, each responsible for managing its own affairs. Forming the collaborative brought the leather artisans under one umbrella, but they were yet to gain a toehold in the handcrafted leather market. The fear of negotiating price with outsiders was overcome by exposing the artisans to both national and international markets.
हम जर्मनी गए, जर्मनी जाने के पहले हम सैंपल लेके गए, डिजाइन कर लेके गए, हमारा डिजाइन सिलेक्ट करके हमको ऑर्डर दिया, हमको ऐसा स्मूथ चाहिए, हमको हाइट नहीं चाहिए, कम चाहिए, हल्का चाहिए, ऐसा सब बोल दिया, ऑर्डर दिया, ऑर्डर ला के इधर सब उन्हें जैसा बोला वैसा बना दिया, बना को भेज दिया, फिर वापस ऑर्डर आ गया, बार बार ऐसा ऑर्डर आता रहता है, हम भेजते रहते हैं.
The Kolhapuri artisans were now on firm ground and on course for international recognition for their finely crafted footwear. Now was the time to develop a long-term marketing avenue. The regular approach of supplying to traders had kept them marginalized for a long time. Options like setting up outlets for the Toehold Kolhapuri would have entailed enormous overheads and a sizable inventory of unsold stock. The toehold women had to think out of the box. Instead of the brick and mortar shops, they went for the click and order enterprise.
When we started discussing with them, we just joked and we said we'll put up a market in the sky so that everybody can reach there. And that's when the thought of the website, more than website, online selling came. We realized, for instance, we don't have any back-end support, or we don't have those kind of the payment gateway, many things of that kind. So we tied up with FabMall. Today it's selling through FabMall online.
Their designs were catalogued and put on toeholdindia.com. A buyer in faraway Germany or Japan can select the design, get the footwear customized, and pay through the internet.
Once that was done, we also needed to create an entity to organize and run the business, because the project can't sell products and market products or work with it. You needed an entity which could do the business. So the entity was called Toehold Artisans Collaborative. This group is unique. It's not a trade unionized organization when you have a collective, and it's not a cooperative, but SHG owned company. SHGs are in turn owned by artisans. So it's a two-tier approach.
Toehold Artisans Collaborative is generating a healthy profit for its members. In the financial year 2005-2006, it did business worth 33 lakh rupees. However, the true achievement of the project cannot be calculated in terms of earnings alone. The investment in building human capital paid rich dividends. It gave the artisans the strength to dream and the support to realize their dreams. Mahadevi learnt to needle the leather from her father, but honed her skill at Toehold. Mahadevi is a quality controller and in charge of the Common Facility Center at Toehold Artisans Collaborative. A heart attack forced her husband to seek voluntary retirement from army. But with Toehold behind her, Mahadevi could still fulfill her dream of sending her daughters to a convent school.
बच्चों का तो मैं पहला ज्वाइन होने से पहले तो स्कूल में पढ़ाती थी, लेकिन कॉन्वेंट नहीं पढ़ा सकती थी, और वो भी इंग्लिश कॉन्वेंट में तो बिल्कुल नहीं सोच सकती थी. लेकिन अभी टोहोल्ड में आई तो इंग्लिश कॉन्वेंट में डाला है बच्चों को.
The project has helped women take control of their lives. Balabai helped her husband Maruti out of the clutches of the local moneylender. When the Artisan Collaborative was formed, Maruti owed 14,000 rupees to the moneylender. They joined Toehold with great trepidation. Slowly, they saved the money to repay the loan. Maruti Kamble is a free man today.
पहिला असलं जे भिताडचं घर आहे का नाही, असं दगडाचं इटंगीचं, तर आम्हाला घर असं होत नाही असं म्हणत होतं. झोपडी होतं आणि तिथं पाऊस आलं की घरात पाऊस आत येत होतं. मग ते सगळंच जाऊन नाही काय, घरात झोपडी गेलं, घर झालं. परत घरात TV आणि टेप, फॅन, परत गॅस घेतलं आणि मिक्सर आणि कुकर, हे सगळं. फोन पण घेतला. सगळं मॅडम संग जरा बोलायला येते, कुणाचं बी बोलणं हे होते. परत लेकीला मुंबईला दिले.
By the time the NLDP project came to a close, the artisans had picked up the ropes. The funding stopped, but the support from Ascent continued. Today, Toehold Artisans Collaborative has a strong foothold in the handcrafted footwear market. The Toehold women have achieved more than the project had envisaged. It has shown us that unconventional business models can also be effective. The sustainability of the enterprise lies in the feeling of ownership it has generated in the artisan community.
नाही बंद होणार नाही. ते कसं बंद होते? नाही बंद होतच नाही. म्हणजे लोक दुसरी म्हणतात, पण आम्हाला खात्री आहे की आमचं कंपनी चांगलं राहणार आहे म्हणायचं. दुसऱ्यांचं हां तुम्ही बोला तसं, आमचं कंपनी चांगलं चालते म्हणायचं आम्हाला आहे का, तर आम्ही चांगलं काम करणार आहे, चांगलं क्वालिटीचं माल देणार आहे. आम्ही क्वालिटी एकदम हे देत नाही, चांगलं क्वालिटीचं माल देतो. आमचं कंपनी कसं जाईल? आणि बंद करू देणार पण नाही आम्ही चांगलं हमेशा कंपनी चांगलं चालवणार आहे.
Pilot projects like Operation Mojari and the Kolhapuri project map uncharted territories to find workable solutions that can be customized to different situations. The two projects have demonstrated that technological and design interventions can improve the product quality and get a better price for the artisan. The leather sector was once dismissed as just another unorganized sector. Today, we have recognized the latent potential of the sector for providing sustainable livelihoods. The NLDP intervention seems to have been a stitch in time. Now is the time for the ripple effect.
Srinidhi Hariyanage, Srinidhi Hariyanage, Srinidhi Hariyanage, Niniruva Tanaka. ವಿದ್ಯೆ ಹೇಳುವ ನೀನೆ, ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಕಲಿಸುವ ನೀನೆ, ಉದ್ಧಾರ ಕರ್ತ ಮಮ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ನೀನೆ. ಮುದ್ದು ಶ್ರೀ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲ ನಿನ್ನಡಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿದ್ದುಕೊಂಡಿರುವ ಎನಗೆ ತರ ಭಯವೋ. ನಾನೇಕೆ ಬಡವನೋ, ನಾನೇಕೆ ಪರದೇಶಿ.